Well, finally tonight, it is Martin Luther King Jr. Day here in the United States, where the nation honors the slain civil rights leader. Church leaders say that his example is one of all that faithful should follow. In a statement, the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops say in part, quote, "We are grateful for his courageous stand in solidarity with all who suffer injustice and his witness of love and nonviolence in the struggle for social change." But the bishops also say more people need to follow the example of the civil rights leader killed in 1968 and are calling for a genuine conversion of heart that will lead to change and the reform of our institutions and society. We recently spoke with his niece, a pro-life advocate, on her uncle's life and legacy. And joining us now to talk about the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is his niece, Dr. Alveda King. Alveda, great to be with you again today on this MLK Day and also Inauguration Day.
Is that not amazing for both of the events to occur at the same time?
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, not many days ago, we said goodbye to President Carter and that era as well. So that's three things that are kind of coming together. And it's so amazing to me. I'm so glad to join you today and to say hello.
Well, it's a wonderful blessing. And as we look back on this MLK Day, what comes to your mind when you think of your uncle, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and the legacy that he left behind?
I'd like to speak about one of his very famous speeches, I Have a Dream. And in that speech, he said, "It is rooted in the American dream." And certainly the American dream is still alive today. A little bruised, needs to be dusted off a little bit, I think. However, we still have faith, we still have hope, and we still have love. And I believe that if my uncle were here today, he would remind us of that.
And I know that your uncle's Christian faith was so important and fundamental in his life. Explain to us how it helped to shape his work in the civil rights movement.
People are not as familiar with my uncle's prayers and his sermons. And as a young man, he explored all of the religions of the world and maybe sowed his wild oats or whatever. And yet he had an encounter with Jesus Christ. And he talks about that at a knock at midnight. And he says, in the height of persecution and all of the battles that were going on in America and in his life, he heard the voice of Jesus say, "Martin Luther, stand up for truth, stand up for justice. And lo, I will never leave you."
Yeah, and civil rights is human rights. And at the end of this week, thousands of people, as you know, will once again gather here in Washington, D.C. for the annual March for Life to advocate for those, as we know, Ms. Alveda, who can't stand up for themselves, the most vulnerable are preborn children. Talk to us about the parallels between the pro-life movement and the civil rights movement.
You mentioned the preborn children, the children in the womb who are aborted. And abortion is still legal here in America, unfortunately. And for me, I say unfortunately, because there has to be a way to serve humanity without killing humanity, in my opinion. Even though as a young woman, I had abortions and a miscarriage because of damage from the abortions and that kind of thing. However, I was finally convinced my uncle was telling the truth when he said injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And the babies in the womb are little human beings.
Thank you, Ms. Alveda, and we love having you on the show. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
God bless you as well.